Yeah.
Hello,
Hey,
Facebook. Nice to see you. We're here to put some more faces in your book today. Uh, sorry about that. Welcome to the Multiversity Project. Today, we just wanted to do a brief reflection on what's been going on with us for the past couple of weeks, because basically, the three of us, plus my dog Betty, who's kind of hiding down here, have been quarantined together for 12 days. We've been pumping out a bunch of content. We've had plenty of ups and downs. We've gone from panicking and thinking we're overreacting to thinking we're absolutely underreacting. And I don't know. Basically, at least for me, it's gone from like the world is ending to the disease is overblown, it's just a flu, and back and forth again like several times. So just wanted to do like a temperature check on how we're feeling about the coronavirus, the situation. Chris, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, I'm feeling basically pretty optimistic about the future. We talked to, or you guys talked to Hans yesterday about the situation in Mexico. I'm feeling like it's not going to be quite as, he seemed like he was kind of pretty pessimistic about it. I think it's not going to be that bad, but maybe I'm just an optimistic person. But I feel like stuff is going to be all right, basically.
What kind of stuff was he saying that you disagree with?
It basically, he said he can't see it being, basically he said like at best it'll be about as the same as the US, but probably a lot worse is what he was saying. And
in Mexico, you mean?
In Mexico, yeah. And I don't know, I guess that could be true. But I feel like here people are like, we heard the news basically in time to prepare. So everybody is self-quarantining, and I think the virus is going to spread a lot slower here, or at least I hope it will.
How are you feeling, Arielle?
Slowly, the virus is going to spread in Mexico. Just checking the microphone. I think it's still working fine. Okay. Sorry, I'm just distracted by all the tech that's happening. It's finding it a little hard to get into like the rhythm of a conversation, which is this is supposed to be more conversational and less commentary. I feel really lucky with our situation that we have here. Like we've been just getting a lot done and hanging out with Betty. I don't know if the camera can see her. She's this little lump over here.
She's jet black, so there's an eyeball.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see.
That's a cute dog for the day. Just like sort of torn between like trying to figure out everything that's going on. I feel like I'm just like so busy all the time and like trying to spend all my spare time like just reading about what's happening and learning more. It's just be able to like intelligently comment on it and be of some use. And yeah, so it's sort of torn between that and just like getting work done and getting hobbies done. And yeah.
I mean, one thing that was kind of interesting is we had some personal conflicts, not amongst us, but with other friends, like related to should we quarantine?
Yeah, there was no personal conflict among us.
Never. Yeah, we never fight.
Ever. Yeah. Peace reigns in this house.
I mean, these guys sometimes, but I'm super chill and easy to get along with always. So.
Oh, come on. What are you talking about?
Guys.
Why are you so
Screw you, Chris. Screw you.
So
guys, not in front of the cameras. But yeah, because Arielle and I felt pretty strongly like once the barrage of news started coming in about the coronavirus, and especially once flights started getting shut down and countries started issuing warnings and lockdowns started happening, we started thinking, okay, we need to figure out where we're going to be. We need to be in some kind of quarantine. We need to set up something strict. Whereas many around us have had feelings more like, this is overblown. This is like a government conspiracy to impose more authoritarian measures or to get people used to a new normal. Or maybe just it's panic induced over a new disease, but it's unfounded or unwarranted. And it's kind of hard to, I don't know, gather your bearings when there's so many different, like, highly charged news sources coming in at all times. I think I'm at a place now where I feel we made the right decision going into quarantine. I'm definitely glad to be waiting this out from a position of security.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely nice for peace of mind to have, just a safe building to sleep in, and that has like a pretty good stock of food. We bought a whole bunch of nuts, so those will never run out. We'll probably have them like years from now. I don't know. Maybe we'll give them away or something. But
I mean, it's nice to like.
But I feel safe.
It's nice to like reduce our likelihood of like getting coronavirus and like passing it on to like some old people and having them die without us knowing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, or having complications ourselves, because it's definitely not unheard of. Like, I have a family member of a friend who's in her 30s who was hospitalized for coronavirus recently. It is happening, even in rare cases for some people who don't have any known pre-existing conditions. So
yeah,
concern.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want to. None of us want to be hospitalized in Mexico during the coronavirus.
Yeah, it just seems like there's so much uncertainty around this virus. Like how, how quickly does it spread? How bad is the disease going to be if you get it? How likely is it that you're going to pass it on to other people? How, like, when is it going to hit? Is it going to hit now? Is it going to hit in a month? Are there 17 different strains of it? There's just so many things that are uncertain about this virus that it's nice to just, just kind of hunker down and stay in one place and hang out with the same people.
Yeah. And part of the way I feel about it is it's like, it seems like there's three problems that are both like all three monumental, like the economic issues, the government authoritarianism, and the pandemic. And it's almost like a trolley problem where like we have to decide which one of them is the most serious. And I just see people, it seems like so many people I know are just like picking one and are like, it's all about fighting the virus, anything to fight the virus. Democracy, the economy, like throw it into the shredder if we can fight the virus.
Yeah.
And other people are like, look what's happening to the economy. Screw this virus. Let's all just get it. Yeah. The old people can die.
Yeah.
And then there's the other people who are like, this is clearly a method to control the world from the Illuminati, so we should definitely just do the opposite of whatever they tell us.
Well, I mean, that's what Chris believes.
I mean,
there's those,
it could be true.
There's those people, but there's also the much more concerning and legitimate position. Like, governments are doing things like tracking locations on people's cell phones and like tracking everybody's contacts to try to see like how the coronavirus is spread. That's something that happened a lot, and I think that was South Korea's main strategy, or one of their main strategies. Singapore was doing that kind of thing as well.
Probably
there was in U.S. Congress they were looking into, and I don't even know, this is one of those news things that got lost for me. They were talking about suspending certain rights, and they were looking to have emergency powers to be able to detain people without trial during this time. Obviously, freedom of assembly has been thrown out the window.
Yeah.
And with all the rhetoric around fake news, like, I could imagine there being challenges to free speech too. So I don't think it's just, like crackpots who are concerned, but not that I want to call anybody a crackpot, but yeah.
Yeah, well, and the president of Mexico is like, he's sort of saying like, stay home and wash your hands now. But, for the longest time, he was just kind of like, what's the point, of worrying about it? Like, let's just carry on with our lives.
I guess he's not part of the conspiracy.
Yeah, or he's what's it called? A controlled opposition.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might be that.
I mean, if you believe in a conspiracy of powerful global leaders, I don't think that you would necessarily think that all countries would be involved in that. Certainly, certain countries are winners and certain countries are losers in this game. If there's I don't know.
It depends. It seems like some conspiracy people seem to think that like they control everything, and some conspiracy people seem to think there's like different factions of conspiracies.
Yeah, fair enough. But I like what you said about the trolley problem thing, and I do agree. Like, it seems like most people are focusing on one issue or another, and like, depending on what issue you're focusing on, the answers come out completely different. And it seems like in many cases, it's kind of falling on ideological lines. Like, a lot of people I know who are more mainstream liberal in the US are definitely like flatten the curve, quarantine, stronger measures. Republicans a lot of times seem to be just kind of like, F this, you know, this is like, we should be able to go out and like, we need to prioritize the economy and this is just a virus. I mean, not completely. And then libertarians are very split. Primarily, it seems anti-quarantine, but like a lot of people too, I've heard a message like people need to take responsibility for themselves and not spread this virus, not look to the government for aid.
Yeah, a lot of the libertarian people I know are like almost like defying quarantine as like a political act.
What have you seen from far leftists?
A lot of leftists I see seem to be concerned about the effects of this whole thing on like the very poor, like a homeless and impoverished people. There's a lot of talk of like rent strikes and worker strikes. Like I see a lot of leftists talking about how this is going to bring back striking culture. I've also seen leftists talk about how this is good for the environment. I guess saw one statistic, this is like the greatest reduction in carbon emissions since World War II.
The air does seem fresher outside.
Yeah, people are also concerned. Most leftists, I don't see very many leftists like being like, we should defy quarantine and let the old people die, because there's tends to be a concern for the disabled on the left and the sick. Like the idea is that we're not really ranking human beings by their, use or their productivity. So I think they're a little bit more concerned with the old and the sick dying than a lot of more capitalist oriented people that I see.
I don't think that's quite fair. Well, maybe that is fair, but I think a lot of what I'm hearing from capitalist oriented people, and there is a strong part of me that shares this sentiment as well, or this concern as well, is that if we quarantine everyone and shut down the economy isn't just about money. The economy is what puts food on the table. You know, it's not like it's just don't quarantine and the old and sick die, or everything shuts down and, you know, we don't have as many luxury items for a couple months, but everybody survives. If you shut down the economy, people who are living on the edge will fall through the cracks, and that might end up being a higher percentage of the population.
Yeah, I mean, I see leftists concerned about that too, but not really so much making the argument not to quarantine as a way to address that. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, there's a million ways you could go with these arguments. I have to get to a family affair, so I might leave you guys to.
Let's shut this down. It's been about 15 minutes, which is what we wanted to do. Thank you for watching this brief update. We're going to be trying to do these about once a week, updates from quarantine, get a little bit more personal with our content. So
we hope you like and enjoy it, and please make sure to stay safe and healthy.
Do you have any comments? Hang on. Oh yeah, God, we have comments actually. Do we want to, holy crap. Do you want to maybe quickly address some comments? Maybe Katy can go do her call if you want.
Sure, real quick. Let's get wild. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Am I high? Always high on life. Okay, question. How long is this going to last for? And do most people have enough money to get through this thing? How much will it really cost? That's from Matthew Pretty.
How long is this going to last? Forever. This is the new normal.
No, I have no idea, but like a lot of people seem to be thinking that if we really want to do this quarantine thing, we're going to have to stagger it, and it'll maybe be drawn out for 18 months off and on until the vaccine comes out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a while.
It's the most compelling thing I've heard.
I'm not sure life will ever go back to how it was before.
Right.
Bye, Katy.
See ya.
Yeah. I'm not sure life will ever go back to how it was before. I'm not sure there's going to be an end. Things are just going to keep transforming. So we got another one from Matthew. Channel is exactly the way of the future. Thank you so much. Uncertainty is winning. I think that's directed towards you. that comment was liked. Okay, so let's see. So Braden says, I see a story a few days ago that 3 million people in the United States filed for unemployment. I won't assume those are all from COVID-19 layoffs, but many businesses are indeed furloughing or firing because of the virus. What do you mean by cost for the individual? So I'd say to speak to that, I mean, I've been looking at some of this unemployment stuff, and it seems to me that like I'm sort of taking it as like a barometer for whether or not this is like the economy is going to recover or not from this. Like the way I see it, the more people who are like let go but allowed to like keep their jobs, like basically like on temporary leave, to me that seems like a good sign, because it means that things are probably going to recover. Whereas if we get people being permanently fired, that seems like some kind of permanent breakdowns in existing structures. I hope that addresses the question. I definitely think the difference between furloughing and firing is pretty crucial.
Yeah, I mean, it basically, it just seems like a ton of people have lost their jobs, especially in the U.S. And well, everywhere. And yeah, basically non-essential functions are being shut down. So anybody who works for a business or businesses that are connected to those businesses is out of luck right now. So, you know, hopefully people will find new business ideas that work for this new environment. Hopefully this environment doesn't actually last forever, but it does seem like doing things more online might actually be sort of where we're going in the future.
No more protesting for 2 years. You got that right. Definitely the government seems like it's taking advantage of this situation, whether or not it's a conspiracy, which I don't think it is. But I mean, you do see things like the government is like in Canada is basically charging the Unistoten camp right now and trying to shut it down while all this is happening and people are distracted. So they're definitely taking advantage of this to do things that they already wanted to do, which is quite underhanded. Oh boy, we got a lot of, let's see if we can find some direct questions. Yeah, we got some awesome comments here.
Conversation was sparked on our comment feed here.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah. We got a cool audience. We got a very thoughtful and eloquent audience.
Love our audience. Our audience is the best.
Yeah, you guys are great.
I agree.
Okay, there are still a handful of states that don't have statewide lockdowns in place yet, and a lot of those residents could not leave on their own accord, as libertarians might agree. But if work is still going on, how could someone not leave the house with some penalties? Sounds like it's true libertarians think this way. They think from a place of principle as opposed to practicality. Yeah, I think that's definitely accurate. Libertarians are thinking from a place of principle rather than practicality. Yeah, and there's definitely some space for both, right? Like sometimes you got to stick. It's like John Vervaeke talks about. There's opponent processes, and sometimes you have to balance. You have to balance different certain polarities in life and the way you do things. And so principle and practicality are a hard one. And I definitely feel myself torn in this situation where on principle I'm very much in favor of civil liberties, but it does seem there's a strong case for curtailing them to fight this virus. And even if you think there isn't, like what if this virus was like 10 times as strong, then would it be the time to curtail civil liberties? So what do you think, Chris?
Well, this virus does seem pretty like basically everybody seems to be getting it. I think there was a study that like 50% of people in the UK or something like that had probably contracted it. I don't know if they were doing it like an antibody study or something, but basically it seems like most people that get this virus don't actually have much in the way of symptoms, or their symptoms are very mild. So for such a kind of innocuous virus, it is causing a lot of problems. In Italy, definitely the hospital system started to get overwhelmed, and I guess that's the main thing that you don't want. You don't want the hospital system to run out of beds and ventilators and all that. But yeah, it just seems like I can kind of see both sides of the issue. Like why are we freaking out this much? for just this little thing that seems like a flu. And then there's the other side, which is like, well, it's a new flu and people don't have any immunity to it. And old people are getting sick in large numbers. And it actually is pretty deadly if you're old and sick. And, we just don't want a situation where the hospital systems of the world get overwhelmed. So,
well, I mean, my concern even more than that is that it could mutate. Is that if you have a situation where, you just let everyone get the virus and billions of people can get it, and then they'll all just get it and it'll pass through the population and we'll let the oldies die. Like some people seem to have that approach. And my concern with that isn't only that it's not very humane and that the hospitals will get overwhelmed, but when you do that, you're basically turning the world into like a petri dish for this virus. Like every body that it's in is like its own little laboratory where it can try out different versions of itself. Mm-hmm. And the versions that will be most successful are those that are the best at spreading. And it's very easy to imagine a situation where a more dangerous version of the virus becomes common.
Right, yeah, like it could mutate into a form that has a longer incubation period, but actually kills you more easily.
It could turn into a form that kills young people, young, healthy people.
Yeah.
Like with the Spanish flu, that's
right.
What happened. There was a first wave that was like this, that targeted the old. And then there was a second wave that targeted young, healthy people. Because what happened was the second wave had more of an autoimmune reaction. And if you're thinking autoimmune, who's most susceptible to autoimmune damage? People with strong, healthy immune systems,
sure, yeah.
Young people in their 20s and 30s. And we already know the coronavirus is an autoimmune element. Severe cases, it attacks the person's own lungs.
Yeah, there's also, I have some theories about autoimmunity that basically the diet that most people eat is not that healthy, and so it tends to cause autoimmune problems. So I'm mostly speaking sort of anecdotally from firsthand experience on that, but it does seem that, yeah, most people have a pretty poor diet, pretty low quality diet, and I don't know if there's a way to fix that really, but yeah, I don't know what I think about that. Anyway, yeah, this
okay,
is
anyway, I think it's time for us to kind of end this thing. But thank you, Chris. Thank you, audience. This has been a lot of fun. We'll try to do these more frequently, and yeah, take care. Have a
stay safe and healthy, audience.
Yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy if you can.
Stay cool.
Stay cool.